Oh, God. What a Monday it's been, everybody. Here we go. Counting down the hits or misses, shall we say, from the Cecil Lammey with Andrew Mason on assignment. Hey, gotta wash this one away, man. Wash it away. And get on to week 7. It'll be here before you know it. Can the Broncos have a short memory as a team? They need to, with the New Orleans Saints coming up on Thursday in week 7. So here to talk about it today, here to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Riding solo today, Andrew Mason on assignment. It's Cecil Lammey talking about the Denver Broncos and everything that we need to see from this team and that we need to see better from this team going forward. Can they shake it off and, kind of get past that loss against the Chargers? That's the conversation. And the answer is they have to. I mean, that's the best answer possible. They have to shake this thing off. So how do they do that? To be a corner in this league, to have a short memory. Can they moss it up this week? Riley Moss is great at having a short memory. Moss has given up some plays this year. He gave up some plays in the Chargers game. But with Riley Moss, he doesn't think about it. It doesn't resonate with him. It doesn't just hang on with him. It doesn't create negative momentum with him. So, how do the Broncos do just that and have that short memory? It's what I'm here to talk about today. An abbreviated schedule this week because the Broncos will have open locker room on Tuesday. So tomorrow they'll have open locker room. I'll be there after Dover and Cecil. I'll head on over to Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit, and see what's going on over there and kind of get a feel of where guys are at. Listen, nobody last week was over their skis in terms of riding high on a 3-game win streak, and the Chargers walloped you. You fought back in, soft zone defense. You fought back against shell coverage where they were giving you everything underneath. You fought back if you're Bo Nix, running for your life at times and scrambling around trying to make a play and picking up yards as the leading rusher with the team, which, again, is part of the problem. Bo Nix should not be your leading rusher at all whatsoever, and he is most every week. I think 3 of the 6 weeks he's been the leading rusher off the top of my head. So, yeah, how do they bounce back? You just have a short memory and you let this one go. Much like the team did losing to Miami last year, and sure, it's a historical beatdown, but they also shook it off and they kind of got on a run, kind of got on a roll there, and the Broncos need to have that sort of memory. Now, it wasn't a similar type of beatdown, but it was a disappointing game, to be sure, because you saw this team out there they could have done more, they could have done better, and they just didn't. So, what's the recipe for success for these Broncos? For me, it's going out there and having your identity run the ball down their throat. The Saints can't tackle. They can't tackle anybody. If you look at what the Buccaneers were able to do against them, and yes, they've got Spencer Rattler out there, and I did already chart every throw that Spencer Rattler made. And honestly, you can figure them out. It's a second game, so I'm not, breaking news here, but you can figure them out pretty easy. He throws a lot to his right. He gives them simple reads. Clint Kubiak says, look high and run, basically, or look medium, look high, low, and run. It's a 2-read system. He's usually throwing to his right. I think out of his first 10 passes, 8 of them were to the right. So, they make him half-field reads. And that's another way that the Broncos, and what is the Broncos' identity? I'd like it to be running the ball while Bo Nix kind of learns and gets up to speed. We damn well know the identity is playing great defense. So get back to that. How can they get back to that? That's what we're here to find out. And that's what, you have this game against the Saints. It's kind of a getaway. Sean will be all up in his feelings, but let Vance Joseph eat. That's exactly what he's going to do against Spencer Rattler. And again, with Rattler, it's high, low, run. It's only one half of the field. You will unlikely, you'll be unlikely to have Pat Surtain. Had to think for a second how to speak English. You'll unlikely have Pat Surtain out there in this one, which is, it's not great, Bob. At least they won't be rattled by it. They were rattled in this last contest after losing Surtain on the very first play. It's something that, we've heard players talk about. I mean, you leave Riley Moss talked about it as well in terms of like under a dark cloud, I think is the way it was put by Riley Moss in the locker room after this game. Something that Mace did send me the video, so I'm uploading it right now to StreamYard so y'all can see it because, we all saw it. We all saw the dark cloud kind of circling around this team after Surtain goes out. It's not like they were underprepared, but it's just different. Now you have Justin Herbert out there being able to make full field reads and picking you apart very slowly. I mean, the leading receiver had 44 yards, I believe. And so it's like, yeah, it's not like he shredded you, but he just kept going all over the field, little pieces. They get up by 20 and they stop. So being under that dark cloud, got it uploaded. Thanks to Mace for getting this from the locker room in the game last night. Here's what Riley Moss had to say.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, something like that happens. We got to be able to, come together and continue to play and have some fire. And, we didn't do that. It was kind of a, dark cloud over our heads, and we got to get out of that. It was just a little funk. And, I think that's something that we got to work on is being able to handle that adversity and get through it.
Yeah, handle that adversity no matter what that is. So Surtain goes down, the full field is left open, and Herbert, an exceptional quarterback who just doesn't have to do much this year because the Chargers want to run J.K. Dobbins into the ground. Everyone get Kamani Vidal. And I believe it was on Saturday's show. We recorded it Friday, where it was like Kamani Vidal's their secret weapon. So fantasy GMs out there, get Kamani Vidal because I don't think J.K. Dobbins lasts 17 weeks. Not a fantasy show. It is orange and blue today. And in handling that adversity, you have to be ready for, is Taysom Hill going to play? We don't yet know. He missed this last game. I believe it's a ribs injury. So Taysom Hill is kind of the key to the Saints. Like when he produces to a certain level, they win. When he doesn't, even with an offensive output, Spencer Rattler not looking terrible. The game wasn't too big for him, but Kubiak certainly helping out that young man. Again, high, low, take off and run, everything to the right, only reading half the field. And I'll double check my notes, but I don't think I have any plays where I felt Rattler was going through his progressions. He was basically just staring at half the field, usually to his right, and just making a play therein. So Vance Joseph can eat. Go down there and get back to basics. Your basics is your identity as a defensive team. One of the ways to really, kind of shake this thing off is just be who you are. Be who you are. And don't get your D gassed. Nate Albert says it here in the chat room. 10-minute drive, the D was gassed. Yeah, that's for sure. The D was gassed. So make sure you set yourself up to not do that. Corey says, take my hat off. Anyway, it's fine. It's totally fine. Let Bo some more time pre-snap is what Tyler says, and I agree with that. Something I talked about on Dover and Cecil today. Like, people want more hurry up. All right, I want Bo to be able to adjust plays because as we saw with Sean Payton would get the play out, Bo would get the play out. He understands the concepts, he understands the formations and everything they're trying to do. And then you get to the line, you don't have time because you see things like Middlefield open, where you'll see the two high safeties, Middlefield's open. And then when the play is ran, there's no place to the middle of the field. That's just wrong. Bo could change that if he gets there and he has enough time to change it. He can adjust somebody's route to all of a sudden go to that portion of the field and essentially just sit down and find the soft spot, hit it. It's easy pitch and catch. That's the first thing. Identify the mic and then see if it's Middlefield open or Middlefield closed. Middlefield closed is single high safety, means you go to the edges. And as I said last night on Orange Blue post game, like when Justin Herbert sees that, you know what he does? He does where you're supposed to go. Middlefield open, go to the middle of the field. Middlefield closed, go to the edges. Super simple. Football's brilliant in its complexity, but sometimes it comes down to just throw where they're not. See where they're lining up. They're going to try to trick you. Oh, it's too high, but then it's single high. Like, yeah, they'll try that. But Bo needs to learn, and Sean Payton needs to take his hand off the wheel. I think Sean Payton clearly is one of those guys who's like a control freak and not letting Bo not necessarily improvise, but just kind of feel the flow of the game and change things. They got into a shouting match because Bo flipped a play that would have worked if Troy Franklin had caught the ball against the Raiders for a 45-yard touchdown. Penalties are killers. Fumbles are killers. Nix's interception, like whatever, it's a chips and overthrows, got to get those. So like, that's not, I'm not losing my mind because Bo Nix threw a pick. Like, no, Bo's fine. Bo has shown the flashes, and now you just need to see him more consistently. And now you need to see this offense off to a hot start. And that's not what happens with this team. So go to the Saints, get back to basics, run the flipping ball. Somebody, if that's Audric Estime and Sean Payton today saying in his conference call, like, I want to see more of Estime. You're the guy that controls that. It's like when Deion Sanders, after the game against Kansas State, says Shiloh was terrible and rusty. You're the guy letting him play. Audric Estime, you want to see more of Estime, call more Estime plays. And if that means Javonte Williams turns into a Samaje Perine where he's your closer or your third down back, so be it. You trust him in pass pro. Ball security is a bit of an issue. And his first carry, he was dancing again. He gets the ball and he like kind of shimmies and then tries to bust outside. That's not his game. I'm not saying he can't do that, but he can't do that consistently. His game is just getting in a zone scheme, bend, bang, or bounce, and then hitting the hole and running over people. You can't do that if you're giving it a drop step and you're trying to dead leg someone. You can't do that if you're Javonte Williams. You're not built that way. So it needs to be led by the defense, and the defense is fed by the ground game. It'll go hand in hand. They'll be together. Is if you can run the ball, you keep your defense fresh. That's a rookie quarterback over there. That's a rookie quarterback that only reads half the field. That's a rookie quarterback that mainly throws to his right. That's a rookie quarterback who's very limited. And there's another layer to this, which isn't necessarily for this show, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. You don't dare want Spencer Rattler to look better than Bo Nix. That's a guy that went in the 5th round, and they did like him. There are many. I don't want to put words in Mace's mouth, but I believe he would agree with this. And if you don't, buddy, let me know. There are many who feel that if the Broncos did not take Bo Nix, and it's Lautu or whoever, like they take a pass rusher and they don't take Bo Nix, that they would have taken Spencer Rattler. I shudder to think, like in the 2nd round or whatever. That was then. This is now. You've got Bo. These next 2 years are about Bo Nix and seeing what he can do. And so far, you've seen enough. You want to see more, but it just needs to be more consistent, and it needs to start hot. That comes from the first 15. The Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. And I don't care. I had Caleb Williams as my number 2 quarterback this year. Jaden Daniels is my number 1 quarterback. And with Jaden, everything's working. It's clicking. They're super happy. I talked to my Commanders guys. They're just over the moon. With Caleb, who looked pretty bad to start the season, and a much better talent around Caleb Williams, they were not scripting their first 15 plays. The last 2 games might have been the 3 games, but the last 2 games I know, they have scripted their first 15. Caleb Williams is balling out. So the first 15, very important in Mike Shanahan's system. And if all of us in Broncos country have Mike Shanahan like hangover or memories, like good, that's when things were great. That's when this thing was a dynasty. The Manning era was fantastic, but we knew it wasn't going to last very long just based on Peyton's age and his health. At least in 4 years, with 2 Super Bowls, you got one. Probably should have won 3 Super Bowls, honestly, in those 4 seasons. But in 2014, notwithstanding, that was terrible once Adam Gase forgot to run the ball against the Rams. Getting off track, back on track is this. If you are Sean Payton, set this thing up for this young man and do it with the first 15. Your first 15 needs to be the best plays, the plays that make him the most comfortable, the plays that you want to see set up in echoes of later. So it's a hook route, and in the 3rd quarter, it's a hook and go, and it's a touchdown. Like these are Shanahan concepts that everybody uses in this league. Sean Payton, not from the Shanahan tree, from his own tree. But he needs to, consider these sort of things because his first 15 are not good. They're not good. And like, that's something where you have to fix that, and it has to come out immediately. you're going to have such a calmness spread over this team if you can come out immediately and make that statement with your ground game. Your defense is going to make the statement, not just because it's a rookie, but I believe in the defense. And they had some problems. Certainly, Kamani Vidal was a problem, but like I believe in this defense. I believe that they'll, get it right or whatever, or get back on the winning track in this game on Thursday night. More on that as the week goes on. But offensively, that's where all of these questions are. Every single one of these questions are there offensively. And that's something that they have to fix. And Sean's in charge of fixing it. So if that's more Estime, great. Make it more Estime. If that means less Javonte, great. I'm all about results. It's a results-based business. And even though I love Javonte, I don't have my heartstrings where it's like, oh, give it to Javonte. Because I've heard that, right? Well, Javonte only gets a few carries. Well, then he fumbles or they get out of rhythm or he's dancing. Like, no, if Javonte's like Jets Javonte or Raiders Javonte, feed him, feed him, feed him. If he comes out and his first carry, he's dancing and he's trying to bounce outside, I'm pulling him and I'm showing him the film. Like, no, this is where you go. There's the hole. He's not a gap guy. He's a zone guy. So set him up with some more zone concepts. But again, that go back to Sean Payton. Sean Payton's screwing this thing up. He's got some talent, not enough talent. Devon Bailey, they were incredibly wrong, unless maybe behind the scenes he wasn't quite right. Ribs injuries always come down to a pain tolerance issue. But to have Devon Bailey be a healthy scratch for 2 games and then go out there and lead the team in receiving, like it's just clear. His first game he ever played, he led the team in targets and catches, 8 targets, 8 catches. Led a team in catches. I'm not sure if Sutton got more targets. Anyway, like Bailey is proven. Not proven, like what a superstar, but like he is super solid. He's a security blanket for Bo Nix. That would help Bo Nix playing Devon Bailey. Again, maybe for those 2 weeks when he's a healthy scratch, it wasn't quite healthy enough. Well, he's back, so put him out there. Courtland Sutton, amazing, doing great work. You love to see it from Courtland Sutton. You want to see more? Well, keep it up with Sutton then. Sutton, Bailey, figure out tight end. Have some routes in the middle of the field, especially if it's Middlefield open, and run the ball better, whether that's Estime or Javonte. It's probably not going to be Jaleel, but like just run the ball better, and that'll help out Bo Nix. Everything this season should be about how do we get the most out of Bo Nix. He can't do everything right now. He's a rookie. Nobody should be saying bust. Nobody should be saying they're out. Nobody should be saying anything ridiculous about Bo Nix. The only thing you should be saying is he's a rookie. These are the struggles you're going to have as a rookie. And yes, he did come back. And yes, they did show fight, which I appreciate. But we also have to recognize it wasn't prevent defense, but it was a soft zone. And against the soft zone, well, yeah, he tore him up. He shredded him up. 189 yards passing, 28 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Passer rating of 148, whatever it was, 148.3, I think, something like that. Anyway, I wrote about it at Mile High Monday, available at denversports.com. Like, all right. They need to get back to the identity of swarming defense, and they need to have an identity, establish the identity of we're just going to run it. We're going to run it. We're going to keep running it, and then let Bo grow. That's what the patient 1991 says. Let Bo grow, and let him grow organically. Right now, Sean is like restricting him. He's restricting him in that he's giving him all these super complex things, and then he won't let him change it. Or he gets mad when he changes it at the line of scrimmage. Like if he sees something, let him change it. Don't yell at him. Be happy for him. Don't call him Henri or Ferris Bueller. Let him be on. He's smart enough to be Henri. Usually when you're Henri, you're going to have, or sarcastic, right? Sarcasm comes with a certain level of like intelligence, because you can't make an ironic or funny observation about something unless you're smart. Bo Nix, well, you can't. He's not out there changing plays because I'm not a dummy. He's not out there making plays because he's a moron. He's out there adjusting plays because he understands defense. Now, he doesn't understand everything in the pro defense. He's got a ton to learn. Let him learn it. Let him grow. Like, that's what Sean Payton isn't letting him do because he wants to control everything. Well, control what you control. Give him the play, give him 2 plays, and tell him whatever you see, switch the other play. Or just allow Bo to change some plays. I'm not saying be Jim Kelly and call your own plays. I'm just saying, let him call his own stuff. So there you go. Like, that's what you need to do if you are Sean Payton, but will your ego get in the way? Let Bo eat Wheaties. Yeah, eat whatever. As long as it's fine. As long as he wins. And I like what Kyle says. Set the tone from the beginning. Yeah, we're going to run it down your throat. New Orleans. Just a memo. And I understand, not everyone's a super football nerd like me, or a comic book nerd like me, or just a basic nerd like me. But I will just tell you, as an observer and an analyst of football, the Saints can't tackle. A little bit of an issue. So the Buccaneers, and Will Peterson was talking to me about this. So we did a little crosstalk there between the drive and Dover and Cecil. And Will was like, well, Spencer Rattler, and they had him up at halftime. And okay, look at the end score. How did Tampa Bay do it? They ran the ball with their third string running back. Rashad White's banged up. I think Bucky Irving should take over in that backfield anyway. And then what? The Syracuse, Sean Tucker, right? He shreds them up, shreds up the Saints, has over 100 yards, does it on a handful of carries, small handful. Bucky had the same amount of carries and shredded them, but then Sean Tucker really shredded them, and they did that in the second half. They don't tackle, just run it down their throat. This should be a day. It should be. I'm not going to project this. This should be a 100-yard day for Javonte or Estime or somebody, but as a team, it should be like a 150-yard day rushing. My Henry side wants to say 200 yards. Doesn't have to be that. But this is the type of game where it's like, okay, you should be able to eat. Defensively, you're going to eat because it's a rookie quarterback that reads half the field and throws mainly to his right, makes one or two reads and takes off to run. Again, maybe because it's 11-on-11 football, because there's a rushing quarterback, it'll be a little more difficult. You don't have all the film on Spencer Rattler. But in that one game against Tampa, there's enough film to know this is going to be super simple. So blitz him, spy him, pressure him. And one thing we know about Rattler from college is that he doesn't do well under pressure. So turn the pressure up to 11 and go get it. Shut him out in New Orleans. But on the flip side, Sean, these are all your homies in New Orleans, right? Still have a villa down there. Who has a villa, by the way? I want to get to a point in my life where I have a villa in another city. Maybe a Puerto Escondido. But anyway, it's like, okay, Sean, go out there and have your offense look better. You don't want Rattler looking better than Bo Nix. And you don't want to be embarrassed with your offense when you were the guy that got him a Super Bowl in New Orleans with Drew Brees when he was throwing for 5,000 yards seemingly every year. This is the week. Now, they need to do it going forward. Panthers, they should be able to roll, whatever. But it's like, start building confidence. This is about confidence. It's about wins, but it's about confidence from Bo Nix. Don't have the rush in his face all the time and then no outlets. How many times did you see Bo get the pressure from the Chargers? He'd have no outlet. He'd just have to run. And then he's like holding on to the ball. He's waiting for somebody to come open. It's like a 2-man route, maybe 3-man, and they're not anywhere near him. I'm going to set it up. And again, if you bootleg, you have to run. But like rollouts, bootlegs, it's what they did with Rattler. They get him away from pressure. You move the pocket. You get him out there. It's the old Jake Plummer, It's what they did with Greg Roman. By the way, Greg Roman, couldn't figure that one out. Greg Roman, offense, super simple. It's what they did in San Francisco with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. Just like bootleg it up. That's what they could do with Bo. Bo could look much better. And Sean Payton is getting in his way. So we'll see. As Tom says, it all starts with Sean Payton. Justin says, what up, Cecil? Go OBT. Yeah. So wherever I'm at, when I hear OBT's a BFD, that makes me smile. I appreciate you all. And we certainly appreciate our man, Andrew Mason. He's on assignment today. Check out his Twitter, send him some well wishes via Twitter at Mace Denver. But that'll be a wrap for today's show. And, we'll see. Mace is going to be in New Orleans on Thursday. I'm not sure if he'll be able to check in on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I've told Mace, just handle your business, man. He's on assignment and he'll do just that to the best of his abilities. Of course, on Thursday, he'll be out there at the game. So again, at Mace Denver, this is Orange and Blue today, every day, Monday through Friday. Now tomorrow, it'll be a little interesting because open locker rooms from 2:15 to 3. Hope I can make it home by 4, but we'll see. And then we'll see. It might be 4:30 start time because the Broncos practice schedule usually 4:30 start time on Wednesdays and Thursdays, except for that 1 week where the Broncos start an hour late. Anyway, getting beside myself. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. I'm Cecil Lammey saying it's OBT and it's a BFD. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. Stay tuned, and would you please, as always, stay frosty.